said that this theme of this particular Farbrengen has to do with unity and love, it has come to hand what the Rebbe spoke on these two themes. I wish to share them with you, and then we will see a video. On the Shabbos of Bechukotai, which has to do and is connected to this week's portion of Chukas as well, which deals with decrees, which are above understanding and logic. The Rebbe delivered a talk emphasizing the importance of Jewish unity and Ahavas Yisrael, showing love to each other. He indicated that these two important principles should be brought into widespread practice on the Shabbos before Shavuot, and therefore we receive the Torah, and from there into the rest of the days of the week, of the year. And so he says, then we stood Ke'ish echad belev echad, as one person with one heart, one being, one nation. He urged that gatherings should be associated with these themes around the world, and we here today in Tampa Bay, Florida, Central Florida, are part of that connection and those gatherings that bring together and unite the Jewish people in fulfilling the Rebbe's commandments as members of the Chabad movement to bring unity into the world and to bring unity into our communities, so that we should merit to see the blessings that God gives us in the Birchas Kohanim, and concludes with the words of Shalom, peace, completeness, and wholeness, that the multitudes of the Jewish people should all over the world merit to see the ultimate redemption of the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu, that the righteous Redeemer will take us forth from the exile that we find ourselves in. And we don't have to look too far to see that we are in exile. Just open up your newspaper or your radio, and you see how the Jewish people are discriminated against and bullied and attempted at who knows what, that they attempt to do. Among the important themes that are associated with Ahavas Yisrael, with the love of a fellow Jew, stands out the days of Sfira and the day of Lag BaOmer. For this day brings about a cessation of tragedy and brings about Jewish unity when children are gathered together. And it stands out therefore most prominently in the observance of the Sfira, and then of the holiday of Shavuot, and then from there into Gimel Tammuz. We see as follows. Rabbi Akiva had 12,000 pairs of disciples. 12,000 pairs. That's 24,000. And the Gemara in Yevamos on page Samach Beis, Amid Beis, says as follows. And all of them died at the same time because they did not treat each other with respect. They were remiss in their Ahavas Yisrael, and we must therefore make special efforts during this period, and especially during this time of Gimel Tammuz, as we enter into the Tammuz of period, to increase Ahavas Yisrael in accordance with the dictum of Rabbi Akiva, which Rabbi Akiva said and which the Rebbe incorporated into the 12 psukim, that you should love your neighbor as yourself. This is a fundamental principle of the Torah. The Medrash elaborates, the Medrash in Vayikra Rabbah, and says that the Holy One, blessed be He, said, because the Jewish people despise discord, and they love peace, and are united in their camping, this is the propitious time for me to give them my Torah. That's what the Rebbe said. Clearly our annual preparation for receiving the Torah and then following through on the Torah must include the increase in Ahavas Yisrael. We have just left shortly recently the days of Shavuos, when we stood at Ke'ish echad belev echad, as one person, one people. It must include this increase of Jewish unity. And even though Each person has different opinions. We are Ki'ish Echad B'Lev Echad, with one mind. Because we all are united in attaining the goal of making God's world and universe a dwelling place for God. And where we are united and together, Berevam Hadras Melech, where there is a multitude of people, is the beauty of the king and the honor of the king. So therefore we must be united if we want the king to be amongst us. And the cooperation of every Jew is necessary for all Jews to attain this state of perfection, of being united and meriting the coming of Mashiach and God's blessings. Through Ahavas Yisrael and unity we complete the mission of the weeks, and we receive the revelation of Mount Sinai, and we receive the revelation of the redemption, the final redemption. And the only fitting preparation for this is the unity of the Jewish people. We tie this into the Hilula of the Rebbe and the Hilula of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai on Lag BaOmer. A physical Hilula. It is a physical situation that occurred. But it is yet a celebration. Why are you celebrating? Why are you singing? Why are you dancing? It is because on this day, the students of Rabbi Akiva perfected his teaching, and the death stopped of the students. So through perfecting the teaching of Ahavas Yisrael ve'ahavta l'reacha kamecha, then all the bad things that we experience, God forbid, cease to be, and only good things remain. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was forced to hide with his son, Rabbi Eliezer, in a cave. And for 13 years they suffered. The Romans searching, seeking to destroy them, to kill them. And there they attained the loftiest levels of the Torah while they were in a cave. It's true, when we're not distracted, when we don't have to deal with the physical world and its restrictions and headaches, we can concentrate on Torah learning. But God didn't want us to have it that way. God wanted us to deal with the physical world. And not, as the spies said, let us stay in the desert and study Torah. We need to go forth from a cave and into the world. And even though there are all kinds of distractions in the physical world, we must not become enslaved to the distractions and lose our unity and lose our ability to be together as one. So when he emerged from the cave, the first thing he did, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, was he utilized the opportunity to express Ahavas Yisrael, to improve the conditions of the Jewish people, of the people that he saw. He interested himself in the persistent problem affecting the community of Tiberias. And he opened a road that had been closed to the Kohanim, to the priests, because there was a question of Tumah there. And he also proclaimed that I am able to exempt the whole world from judgment. We see this as we saw it in this week's portion that we just read. Sedra Kairach, a rebellion against the leaders of the Jewish people, Moshe and Aaron, from within themselves, from the Levites themselves. Korach v'Hadassah, They came to question Moses' authority.